Good evening, everyone. My name's Emma Jarratt. I'm the executive editor of Autonomy, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening. We're talking about a big subject tonight. It's a topic with polarizing views, political theater, and tons of misinformation. It's new and quickly changing. And there are a lot of heightened emotions wrapped up in it. Excitement and anger, anxiety and pride, fear and hope. On the surface, electrification can appear just a binary decision, to buy an electric vehicle or to not buy an electric vehicle. But it's much more than that. I've yet to be presented with a sector or population immune from the electrification revolution. That's because electrification is a euphemism for a completely reimagined society and way of living in every part of the world. It impacts our mental and physical health, our modes of transportation, of people and goods, our energy usage, the way we heat and cool our homes, grow our food, the jobs we and perhaps our children will have, and the environment we rely on. It's a major evolution that's touching every industry and human being. It's also a reminder of the unknown future facing us as a species. 65 million years ago, the world's dinosaurs went extinct due to a major climate event. Just a small handful of animals survived: birds, lizards, and crocodiles. What did these species have in common? They all had small footprints on the environment that supported them, and they are all highly adaptable. Human nature is really interesting. We, as a collective, resist and fear changing our habits, even if it's in our best interest. For example, instead of going out to a gas station a couple times a week to fill up our cars, as we've been doing for the last 100 years, we're now being asked to take our car in the evening, plug it into a wall outlet, and have it fuel up or charge while we sleep. Sometimes we may need to detour from our day to plug them in a public place. We might have to wait around for a bit for the car to get enough juice. And even though we have all done this exact routine with our cell phones, for me, in defiance of all safety measures, my home charger is beside my head and in my bed. And I cannot tell you how many times I have been out reporting and stopped to buy an overpriced Starbucks coffee just to fill up my phone as well. To translate this low-maintenance cell phone ritual to a vehicle is deemed an appalling and unacceptable risk by many. So we have a lot to learn from crocodilian adaptation if we're going to survive a transition to electrification. Despite the rather bleak prospect that, depending on our ability to adapt or not, humans could be the new dinosaurs, at its core, electrification is a movement rooted in optimism and striving for a better future. Canada has a national mandate to have no new pure combustion light-duty vehicle sales by 2035. With interim targets of 20% zero-emission vehicle sales by 2026 and 60% by 2030. To support this, 7 of our 10 provinces and 2 of our 3 territories now have provincial or territorial EV sales rebates. We also have a federal rebate that's available to all prospective EV buyers. Canada is working to phase out coal burning by 2030, with the result of having a goal of a net zero electrical grid by 2035. And we are contemplating regulations for 100% of medium and heavy-duty vehicles to be zero emission by 2040. Is this all a tailpipe dream? Many people think so. But for the full year of 2023, market penetration for zero-emission light-duty vehicles hit 10.8% in Canada. That's up from 1% in 2017. In 2023 as well, 79.4% of our national electricity supply came from non-emitting sources, according to Statistics Canada. We also increased our battery storage capabilities by almost 9-fold, going from 11 megawatts in 2016 to 92 megawatts in 2023. On the flip side, our energy usage is projected to double between 2021 and 2050. So even with the gains we've already seen, Canada has a big mountain to climb in the next 11 years to meet its climate targets. Today, Canada holds some of the world's leading IQ and IP in sustainable technologies. Just look at the speaker roster for any clues about how we're doing on that front. We've also likely been following the wave of manufacturing that's onshoring from coast to coast. And there is sometimes a rare and admittedly grudging alignment between policymakers and industries when it comes to decarbonizing. But none of this should be taken for granted. Despite the billions of dollars of private industry and public purse money that's been poured into this transition, there's still a large percentage of the population that heartily disagrees with the direction scientists, activists, government, and some industry are pushing. The transition of our transportation methods, our economy, and our grid to non-emitting electric power is far from a sure thing, and we can't forget that. Take a look around the room. Whether you came here tonight alone and armed with knowledge about electrification, or with a group that's full of questions about the whys and how it will all work, you are among crocodiles. As much as I would like to believe the description of this evening's discussion about understanding electrification being, quote, no longer a choice but a necessity, I know that outside this forum, that sentiment is a hotly debated opinion, not reality. The opportunity tonight to hear from some of the leading voices in Canada's sustainability space is a unique privilege. But the knowledge we gain needs to leave this room and be paid forward to our respective communities. That's the most helpful thing we can do for the electrification movement. Amplify information and sow it through our networks. We can't force someone to change their habits, but we can give those who don't agree with or don't appreciate the necessity of electrification more information, so they have an opportunity and a reason to continue to consider which side of the adaptability ledger they want to be on. I'm so looking forward to hearing from the rest of the speakers. People often say that journalists write the first draft of history, and it's truly my pleasure and privilege to have a front row seat to this watershed time of electrification. Thank you for your time this evening.